keep me from enjoying the picture. So we good. Mr. Philip Swain, and I am talking to you in where in Colorado?
I am in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, just south of Denver by about 20 minutes.
Right on.
Yeah,
Woo. Well, last night I did one of these with Mike Maderis, and after I'm done with
Mike
you and have some
Maderis.
lunch,
All right.
and then after I'm done with you, have a little lunch, and then I'll be talking to Stephen Capelas.
No way.
Yeah, we're gonna start,
Wow.
rolling these out here shortly.
And then what are you going to do with those? You're going to pop them on your
The
the 75
classmate,
website.
the classmate page that's on
Cool.
Facebook. Yeah,
Uh,
because as I was talking to some people, like I just recently heard from Richard Bartlett, he was planning to come, and then now at the last minute, something came up, he cannot come.
wow.
Sean Holt has family commitments. So for those guys, at least they get to touch some of the classmates still, even if they don't come. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I know how disappointed I'd be if I was going to have to miss the 50th unplanned.
I know, right? It's like I think I left Hawaii 19, let's see, 88 maybe. So and then I was in Japan in 1980, 79 to 81. So, I don't know if I even made any reunions so far. When the 50 was coming up, I thought, oh man, I better go no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's give people some background.
Sure.
You came Kamehameha what grade?
I came as a seventh grader.
Okay, same as
Mhm.
me. Awesome.
Yeah.
Before that, you attended what? Where?
So before that, I grew up on the east side of Kauai. So I went to Kapa'a Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
Me and
Um,
Clyde Cowie went Kapa'a.
all right. No kidding. He came seventh grade too, didn't he?
I think he did, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, and then we made it through our high school years. We graduated.
Barely. We barely made it through. I barely made it through.
Where did Philip go from there?
Let's see. So after graduated, I went to the University of Southern California. So I went to USC in Los Angeles.
And wasn't that kind of tied in with doing gymnastics?
Yeah, yeah. As you know, at Kamehameha, they counsel us, about various colleges and stuff. And I was meeting with the counselor, and he was suggesting going to somewhere up in Washington or Oregon, maybe, Willamette, some of those small private schools. Yeah, Kamehameha has a relationship, I think, with some of those small liberal arts schools. So he suggested two or three of those, and after I won the gymnastics state championship, yeah, all around championship, 1975.
Wow.
So I thought, man, I love gymnastics. It's been great for me, and so I said, I to the counselor, I said, look, I need to look for a school that has gymnastics or good athletics that I might be able to, go on the gymnastics team. So I looked around, and USC had a pretty good team, and private school, and I applied there. And honestly, I had no idea that I'd even have a chance of getting in there. So, but I applied, and they're very careful in their selection there. You have to actually, after you apply, you meet with a alumni committee, an alumni group of two or three Rich Howley alumni had to interview me in Waikiki somewhere. Yeah, you had to go in for face to
Wow.
face. Yeah. So, but they were very, very gracious. They accepted me. And, I mean, I grew up on Kauai where we all spoke straight out Pidgin English, and my English skills were like terrible. I could not tell you what was the difference between a verb and a noun and an adverb and all that stuff, right? So somehow we made it to Kamehameha, but when I got to college at SC, turned in my first English paperwork, like freshman English, right? The teacher comes over, she says, think we need to do a little work together.
You might want to be in our English second language program.
Exactly. It was so bad. But luckily she loved Hawaii too. So she helped me and some of the other guys in the class. They had some Iolani guys there, and they would help me get through some of the stuff. So yeah. But it was great. USC is a great school to go to, both academically and athletically. So I
You
walked
did
onto
four
the
years there.
gymnastics team. I did my 4 years there. Yeah. And
Okay.
Nolan Crab was with me there for a while.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Okay.
not sure Nolan finished, but he was there at least 2, 3, maybe close to 4 years. Nolan was there. So yeah, it was fun. We had a Hawaiian club. Nolan and me and Jeff Noah. Jeff was down the road in Santa Ana, and we would get together and play music. Try to do our Hawaiian stuff as well as still go to school.
Yeah, in fact, Jeff mentioned the other day I did a Zoom with him to get his feet wet, but I'm still
Yeah.
trying to talk him into letting me hit the record button. So, but while we were talking, he said something about some kind of event in his life at a temple, and you attended.
Oh man, that's so long ago. Yes, Jeff and I and Nolan, uh, all LDS, members of Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints now, but Jeff was not back then. And but he became interested and he met a gal who was LDS gal that he was dating in Santa Ana, I think. And so yeah, we helped him teach him the gospel and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know what that main event he's talking about, but yeah, Jeff had a pretty significant spiritual conversion during the college
Yeah.
year, and myself too, because as I went to Kamehameha, where did you grow up?
Molokai.
Molokai, no kidding. So as we go to Kamehameha, we go and we dropped into the system of boarding students. We just follow whatever they tell us to do, right? You have to follow whatever they tell
Yeah.
us to do. So I I kind of never went to church when I was in at Kamehameha, so I kind of drifted away from my own faith. But when I went to college, I got pretty active involved again. So it was a big change for me
Okay.
spiritually too. And so yeah, Jeff and us became good friends. We would do church things together and do Hawaiian stuff together, and it was just fun. Southern Cal was a great place to be, and there was a number of Hawaiian kids there, either from Kamehameha. We had some good friends from Punahou, even though we don't like the school. The guys are all right. But
Yeah.
yeah,
When
it
I
was
was
a good.
talking to Mike last night, both his kids went Punahou
Oh,
because
for real?
he was saying how they ended up having to attend the backup school.
The backup school. That's a good one. They couldn't get into Kamehameha, so they used to say, "Okay, well, we go put on
Yeah.
then." I tell
And then
you.
from USC, where?
And then from USC, I graduated in 1979. And my last year, I was the captain of the gymnastics team. And I just walked on, Kermit. I just walked on to the team. I just showed up and said, "Hey, can I join the team?" And the coach was saying, the coaches, they don't know how good you are when you show up, right? So he said, "Well, come on in." So I went in, did my stuff, and by my senior year, I was the captain of the team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. So we would travel up to Oregon and Washington. It was the Pac-10, maybe then, Pac-10, Pac-12, Arizona. Oh, it was fun. It was just a lot of fun. Berkeley, up to Cal. The first time, I don't know if you want to put this on your, on your podcast, but the first time we went to Berkeley. Have you ever been up to that area?
Maybe just driving only. I
Just
did that
driving through? Yeah.
Oregon to Southern Cal run quite a few times, but not really
Yeah.
stopping
So for me, right,
there.
I'm in this big sea. I mean, I'm a Kauai boy on the east side. I mean, Kapaa, just really down home, just like you, down home country boy, right? Grew up in Anahola, Hawaiian homesteads. So I go to LA, big city, man, big city. But I got assimilated. And then we take this trip up to Berkeley to go compete. We're checking into the hotel, and I'm looking across the street, and there's like cars like driving down the road slow, and they stop and they talk to these ladies on the side of the road, and the ladies are all dressed up. I'm going, what is going on over there? So I'm just watching, right? And they come, the ladies talk to the guys in the car, and I turn to my teammates and go, what is that over there? What are they doing? They all look at me and they start to laugh. I said, Phil, you never seen hookers before? I said, no. Is that what that is? I said, dang, I'm in the big city now. It was like, whoa, that's how they do their deal. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Been to Oregon, Washington, all those places as gymnasts. When I went to Stanford, we had to meet at Stanford. Stanford is a beautiful campus up at Northern Cal there, and so yeah, it was being a gymnast at USC was fun. Being a student athlete was a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome.
And then I POW in 1979, graduated 79. And then right after I graduated, my life had changed significantly enough that I decided to go on an LDS mission. So I got called to serve in Tokyo, Japan. So I did 2 years in Japan right after I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been back since?
Oh, I wish I have not. It's on my bucket list though to go back. And Tokyo, so I go from, of course, maybe the fifth or sixth or seventh largest city in the world to maybe the first, second, or third largest city in the world. I go to Tokyo, Japan. It's like you cannot believe how many people live in Tokyo, Japan, man. But it was awesome. It was busy. Riding trains was an experience. I mean, it was, and for local boys like us, the food was just our style, right? So Japanese food was so good there. I had a really really good time in Japan.
Yeah, I learned from Mike last night, actually, this GPS app that I've been living with for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
There's a button you can press for public transportation. And he says he uses it in Tokyo, tells you what bus to get on,
for
what
real.
what time it's
What
coming,
time is gonna come in? Yep.
where to get off. And I thought, nah, I would have been in a strange city having no idea I had that on my phone.
Yep.
I never pressed the button. I don't know you know, why
What does
would you
Mike do
do that?
nowadays that he travels to Tokyo?
He's retired,
Uh,
so he was with an engineer with lastly with the state of Hawaii, but
okay.
he's had kind of an interesting story. You can check it out when I load him up tonight. But
Okay. Cool.
it's yeah, just I'd like to go just for the food, if nothing else. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm kind of a food addict, so when it
Are
comes to
you?
something unique, well, it's got to be unique. It's got to have a draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to the cities, Minneapolis Saturday. There's a kid. I don't know what island he's from, but Filipino kid has his own restaurant.
Mm,
Had one in Vegas, and then I don't know why, but he ended up moving to Minneapolis, reopened. But he's got stuff that he creates. It's nothing
nice.
your average, but it's all based on. He's got some lumpia. He
Mm-hmm.
calls them he calls them oompa lumpias.
Oompa Loopia.
But yeah, so I that's one of my deals. I'm semi-retired, but I still get a lot of free time. So,
Mm.
and you mentioned the other day, next fall, you looking at retiring?
Yeah, I'm gonna retire in September. So yeah,
Okay.
I've been in moving and storage sales for, oh man, almost 30 years, about 30 years. So
Wow.
yeah. So I worked for major van lines, companies, and agencies. So here in the Rocky Mountain States, there's a large moving company called Bailey's Moving and Storage, and they have 5 locations: Denver, Colorado Springs, Grand Junction, Salt Lake City, Utah County, Utah. And they started in the 50s, so old time company, and they became an allied agent in the 53, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, good company. I've been on with them in my 30-year career, almost 20 of those years with the same company. So yeah.
So after graduating USC,
Mhm.
what's the next stop?
So graduating USC, then Japan, like I mentioned, and then after Japan, I went back home to Hawaii, to Kauai, and then so I was a young man, like most of us at that time, and I was trying to find somebody to date and marry, and so I looked around on Kauai, and there wasn't that many choices on Kauai at the time, and so I dated a gal from USC. She came over, visited, and then that didn't work out. Then my wife currently, and my only wife, or first wife, is she's from Utah, and I met her in Japan. So we became good friends. We worked together as missionaries, and then she went back home to Utah, and I came back to Hawaii, and we kind of communicated via phone and mail and stuff. And then she came to visit, so we dated for a while there, and I went up there and dated for a while there. We only dated for about 2 weeks, a week in Hawaii, a week in Utah, and then after a while, I proposed and we got married in 1982.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So help me with the math. How many years is that?
man, this March 30th, just a few weeks ago, we hit 43 years.
Wow. That
Yeah,
is
43 years.
amazing.
It's a long marriage. It's been great. It's been great. We have
Well,
three
it's
children.
inspiring, based on what's going on these days. It
Oh,
just
I know.
so three kids.
Three kids, yep.
Introduce
And
them to
we
us.
got six grandkids now.
So who are your three kids?
So my first one is her name is Amber Diana Lohalani, and she is a teacher coach and not an athletic coach. She teaches teachers how to teach. So she has a master's degree from CU Boulder. She's working on a doctorate degree right now, actually, at University of Colorado. No, yeah, University of Colorado Denver campus. And her teacher, by the way, is a Hawaiian gal that's teaching her our doctorate program. And so she is studying justice. What's it called? They call it JEDA, like justice, equity, diversion, and inclusion in in education. So, which is
And
kind of a
that's
big deal.
and that's a hot topic now.
The
So
hot topic right now. Of course, Trump wants to like eliminate any kind of justice, equity, diversion, and including us Hawaiians, right? It's like whatever.
yeah,
So, but yeah, she will be getting her doctorate in that probably in the next year or two. So very, very diligent girl. First kid, they always pretty directed, yeah, self-directed. So, and she has three kids, and she has a blended marriage. So her kids are like her from her first marriage are like Mexican, Hawaiian, English, Irish, German, whatever.
fits right in. Fits
It's
right
like
in.
whatever. Yeah, it's like chop suey. And then her second marriage with a school teacher is he's black guy, so her second marriage kid or kid from that marriage is like whatever, black, English, Irish, German, Hawaiian. But hey, that kid is beautiful though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
how old is she?
That one is just turned. See, 83. She just turned 40 then a couple years ago. Yeah. So she's 42, I think now. 42, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
then the
number
second one
two?
is 2 years younger, and she is at the University of law school right now. So she's finishing up a law degree this month. So by next year, she'll be graduated next month, May. She graduates from the University of Hawaii Law School. Yeah.
Wow. Did she lock in on the field a little bit later? She did.
She did, yeah. She went through. She had a pretty tough marriage, and they broke up a few years back, and it just never quite worked. And so she never really was in a career program of any type while she was married, and she was just supporting her husband, helping out, with whatever stuff he was doing. And then after they broke up, she did the one that has working on her doctorate, talked to her, and the second kid, my second one, is her name is Andrea Lealoha, Andrea Christina Lealoha, and I don't know if you have kids, but you notice early some of your kids are really brilliant in the mind, but other things in life not so brilliant sometimes. So, but she always had a brilliant mind, and so her older sister said, "Look, sis, you love to argue. Why don't you go check out the field of law?" So she studied the LSAT just from a book, took the test and passed way high on her scores on the LSAT. And so she got accepted at the
Wow.
University of Hawaii Law School. So, and I was there last summer. I visited, and they have this Wahine Law School graduates football game, flag team football at one of the parks in Hawaii. So she invited me while I was there. Went and see all these Wahine lawyers are doing flag football against each other. The alumni against the current students have this football game, and I'm thinking to myself, only in Hawaii would they have a flag football game of Wayne's attorneys against each other. They were so stinking competitive. I'm going, dang, these girls are serious, man. But it was fun. So they enjoy her. She's very spunky. She's very, what's the word? She's tough, mentally and physically both. She was two times state of Colorado basketball. Her team was basketball championships 2 years in a row when she was here. So she's played basketball, volleyball,
Wow.
softball, all the Wahine sports. And she later, after she graduated and stuff, and moved back to Hawaii, she got her, what do you call that? Trainer's license, certified trainer. So, and she also does the kind. Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So this girl, I kid you not, she's
Holy
competitive.
moly.
Yeah, she's competed in various stuff. So very, 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 very physically oriented, very gifted mentally too. And getting to her into law school was a big deal. So her life is changing right now. It's changing very rapidly. So she also interns at OHA. So she's in the Native Hawaiian Law program there at UH, and she is interning at OHA, and we hope that she gets a job at OHA when she gets out next month.
Wow. That's
Yeah, it's fun
cool sounding.
to watch your kids.
But she sounds intimidating for any potential suitors in the future, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that one. She also discovered as her life was changing that she's gay, and she just got married to a Hawaiian wahine. So see,
Oh, right on.
she and her
Okay.
wife. Yeah, she has a beautiful wife from Kauai. She's the gal she married kind of descends from the Nakamura and Ojai family over there on Kauai. So yeah, on the east side also. So yeah, actually distant cousins. She said, "Dad, can I marry my distant cousin?" I said, I guess if it's distant enough, it's fine. So yeah,
Yeah, you really
no,
need to check that genealogy first
you gotta check
before
out the genealogy, right? But yeah, she's great. So we're proud of her. I'm gonna be there in May and get through all her graduation stuff. So that'll be fun. And then my last child, he lives with us. He's about 35 now, and he's in high tech stuff. He loves video gaming. He's working on he did about a year or two of film school. They have a film school here in Denver, so he's gonna be working on video game trailers and creating stuff like that. Very creative guy. So yeah,
awesome. Is he married?
not yet. Not sure
Okay.
he's interested in getting married either. Yeah,
Hey, I
you never
mean,
know, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
It comes up and tells you when you're ready sometimes, you know.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I'm guessing they were all born in Colorado.
No, you know what? We were still in Hawaii when they were all born. He was a little baby when we left, so all of them born in Hawaii. So after my wife Diane and I got married, we lived on Kauai for a while, and I moved her into a little shack of a house in Anahola by the beach, and it was a little bit too much of a shack of a house for this holly girl from the mainland. I mean, we never had washer dryer. We had cows in the backyard and chickens underneath the garage. She's like, what happened? Where am I? So
He's
it was
going, okay, now that we're done camping, where's our
yeah,
house?
where's our real house? So then we moved to Oahu, and we lived in Waipio Gentry. It's our first little townhouse we bought in Waipio Gentry years ago. And then we bought a little bigger house when the kids got born. And then we decided to leave in 1988, 89, something like that. And then we went to Utah. I lived in Utah for a while, and I worked in sales there for some other companies. And then we got transferred to Colorado maybe 1990 or so. And that's when we showed up here. And then we've been here ever since then. So we've been in Colorado, whatever, 35 years, 34 years, something like that.
Now, what are the finer points of you having ended up in moving and storage? Was it just an opportunity that knocked, or you had a connection, or you live next door
Sure.
to a guy, or what?
Yeah, you know how life goes. You just somehow wind up in different things. But when I was at SC, you take those crazy tests of what fields might be your talents might be well suited for, and mine has always been in sales type of oriented careers. So that's where I feel most comfortable talking to people and persuading them and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
and so um, after I started in sales at a large kind of jewelry manufacturer in Salt Lake City, and so I was doing, but that was corporate selling. And then I came out here, and then I left that job. And one of my friends was a sales manager at Bailey's Moving and Storage, and I met him at like a school or church thing, and he just approached me and he said, "Phil, you know, we have a need for sales guys at Bailey's, and no, I didn't even know that moving companies had sales guys." So yeah, you don't know either,
Yeah.
right? But the guys that come to your house, if you're moving and you need a moving estimate, those are sales guys. That's me. That's what I go to people's houses like 5, 6 times a day when the busy season is on, and I do analyzing of what needs to move, proposing our services, selling the company, and all that stuff. So yeah, this guy who I knew, he invited me to take a look at it, and so I said, I'll try it. And it's a weird business in that if you get into the moving and storage business, and you actually try to get out, you always wind up coming back. It's one of those industries that because the skills are very specific, that you often, and you can make pretty good money if you learn your job well and do it well, that it attracts you back. It's just one of those interesting businesses you get into, and it's you don't get out until you retire. So
Uh,
yeah, it's been good for me. I've earned a good living and being able to support the family and help out the kids when they need help at law school. And, because while she's in law school, she's like, Dad, I really can't work very much. Law school is really hard. so, so I help them out when I can. And then it's been a blessing to work for my company. So good company.
have you gotten to do any international traveling other than your mission?
No, I haven't. So that's why I'm gonna retire. I want to go and see places I've not seen. I don't know if you've done a bunch of traveling, but it's on my bucket list to get. I'm my Howley side. My dad was a Coast Guardsman from New Jersey actually, and he wound up in Hawaii serving at Nauwili Harbor on a Coast Guard ship. So that's how he met my Hawaiian mother. My uncle was on the same ship and introduced my dad to my mom, and here we go. Here, there we go. The Swain family was born. so, so yeah, and so I have, ancestors from the East Coast, from Boston down to New York, New Jersey. My wife and I did take a trip to the East Coast and went toured all the way from Boston to Washington D.C. That was awesome. And so, but I do want to cross the pond and go over to Europe for a little bit. Those are some of the things I want to do. I don't know if I'll get to, and I want to get back to Japan because it's changed a lot, I hear. But yeah, those are things I want to do. I haven't been able to do any of that kind of stuff though.
Yeah, I same thing. I've got the bucket list. I've never been, but recently some of our classmates did a like a South Korea tour,
Oh, really?
and then from Taiwan. In fact, Kauai people, Marilyn Kaohi,
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
and you remember Ulu Kealoha?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, they went on that thing, and it just looks like wow.
I
I
remember
just
the
would
one that
love to get there.
Lorelei Kekaoha was posting. Was she in Japan? I think she was in Japan. Lorelei was in Japan too. I saw some posting. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I just
Yeah,
saw
that's
her that
lucky,
over.
man. I want to go there too. Maybe we should organize a 75 trip to whatever various places like those guys. That's your
Be
next thing,
cool.
Kermit.
Okay,
Write that down. Exactly.
cool. So, what do you do when you're not working? How do you?
So, well, you know what? Here, I'm gonna show you. You mind if I move my? So you see my Waikiki shot there, right back there.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
that? Wait, where's my camera? Okay. Can you see?
Oh, okay, okay.
So that's a kanilea 6 string baritone. I don't play guitar. I just use them for decoration. And then that's what I call my signature ukulele. That one's signed by Ledward Kaapana and Keola Beamer and all those guys who come up. Jake Shimabukuro. That's a Martin
Wow.
Koa, Hawaiian Koa. That's a Martin mahogany from the 1940s. And yeah, so I do a lot of Hawaiian music. There's the rest of my office over there. But um, yeah, I do a lot of Hawaiian music. I actually started writing Hawaiian music back maybe 15 years ago now. I wrote my first Hawaiian song. So I write music, I play music a fair amount. Have a little Hawaiian band, three guys, bass player, guitar player, ukulele player. And like in high school, I do the lead singing. So
That's
yeah, I love
awesome.
that. Yeah, I love
So
my
now
Hawaiian
then,
music.
if you're writing Hawaiian music, you study the language?
I do. Yeah, I
Okay.
study the language. I've been studying for a while. I'm not ma'a yet, but I do study the language. I study online now with this course that this guy from Kauai or from Kaneohe, I think, put together, and it's all like by sound learning. So for me, I learn auditorily better. So I really like it. So yeah, I don't know how many of our class members are speak a little Hawaii, but I hope to practice a little bit more when we're over there this June.
I imagine we have a fair number
I would imagine too. Yeah.
just
Well,
from
I know
things
that
we gather
the
and
kind does Kalani Akana. Yeah, I think he speaks fluently, teaches and stuff. Yeah.
then I was texting and I'll be talking to next week. Um I remember him as Thomas Chun, but he goes by Camuela now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's probably fluent too. And I saw all his recognition, yeah, for his Kumu stuff and stuff. Yeah, that's awesome too. Yeah.
And then physically, he's like a bodybuilder. He's just,
I know, right? I think the bugger was skinny in high school, no?
yeah, very skinny. I mean, just so
Yeah.
it like, wow. Okay, but
Good for him.
that kind of dedication impresses me. So
Yeah, it's nice. I think my back hurts too much from gymnastics to be able to keep working out really hard. I still work out, but not really hard.
yeah, we're at the age where I was joking with Mike, sometimes you get out of bed and you hear a brand new sound you never heard before
I
coming
know,
from,
right? Yeah.
or how we can injure ourselves sleeping.
I'm not sure I did that one yet, but it'll probably come. It'll probably come. Oh,
Uh,
yeah, it's been fun, and I got back into Hawaiian music because I think I told you when we were talking on the phone that I was at they have a big Asian festival up here in Denver. It's called Dragon Boat, and they race their boats and all that stuff. They probably do it in Minnesota and other places too, but
yeah, we've been to one, so
yeah, those things are fun. So I was there and I saw this guy. I saw the like who's playing music list. I was walking around and I see this name, Mark Kahalikulu, and I go, dang, Mark Kahalikulu. Wait, I think that guy went to Kamehameha. I think he was my brother's class, 74. So I go over there and he's playing music on stage. And after he comes off, I said, hey, brother. And he goes, you know how they are, yeah? When you run into people after whatever, 50 years, like, Philip. So we started talking. He says, hey, you still play music? I said, well, I still sing and stuff, but you play Hawaiian music? No? Hey, come to my house. We go play. So that's how it was. So I went to his house. We started playing, and he got me kind of because I mean, I love Hawaiian music, and I've always loved Hawaiian music. So um, when I got somebody to play, but I've never played an instrument. I never played. I was always the lead singer. If you remember in high school, I was the lead singer with Kevin Tevis and the guy and Randy Fukino, or what's his name? Not Randy. It's the brother. Anyway, with the Fukino guy, and then from '76, and so I was always the lead singer. I never played. So when you live up here and you don't have anybody who's playing guitar, I wasn't playing Hawaiian music. But then I ran into Mark. He plays guitar, bass, everything. And then I started picking up the ukulele. So in the last 15 years, I've really loved to learn and love to play the ukulele. So that's how I got back deep into Hawaiian
wow.
music. Yeah.
It's amazing how things will enter your life and create change like that.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had to say, some of the one of the greatest joys of my life was to come back to Hawaiian music and to be able to, I don't know if you can imagine this, but to be able to take something that doesn't exist, like a song, and all of a sudden you work on it and it exists, a whole new thing exists because you worked on it. That's like a cool thing to be able to create a song that didn't exist before. In fact, I wrote one about Kalau Papa, about Molokai Kalau Papa. Yeah, that is my
Right
most
on.
popular song. People love to hear it. So
What's it called?
it's called Aloha Kalau Papa. Yeah. If you go to my YouTube channel, Philip J.K. Swain YouTube channel, it's on there. So yeah, some of my original songs are on there. But it's
Is it
like
like is it like no spaces? Philip J.K. Swain.
how did I put it in? I'm trying to check. No, I think it's Philip. It might be my full name, might be Philip Joseph Kahaunile Swain. But I'll text it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you
But
mind
yeah,
if I
there's some of my
shared it with
originals.
the class?
Yeah, go right ahead. Some of
Okay,
the
okay.
Hawaiian words are wrong because that was like 15 years ago before I was studying Hawaii. But yeah, happy to. You can put it out there, share it with the class. It's fine.
You know, I see it happen. It's happened to me personally, but with English songs. But
Yeah.
I imagine even so with Hawaiian songs, because a lot of songs that I know and remember, I grew up hearing, never saw it in print.
Right.
So the likelihood of me having some of the words wrong is probably really good.
Hey, I play music with some really good Hawaiian musicians, and they sing the words, and I go, and me, I'm kind of picky about the words, need to be right? So I'm singing with this guy, and he's singing, and I go, wait a minute, I don't think he got those words right or in the wrong verse or whatever, but that happens in Hawaiian music. You're right. Because a lot of us just learn the music as kids. We hear it. And then with teenagers, we might play it. And then, we just keep working with it and it grows and it changes. And yeah, you're right. You got to get the book Hemele Aloha. That's the Hawaiian, kind of like the Hawaiian music book. It's called Hemele Aloha. And it has all the appropriate words and the translations and the chords. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't messed with that, and do you play ukulele?
I know how to play. I don't actively play. It's been decades. So,
Yeah. If you get that, it'll be fun for you because you'll see these various Molokai songs like, Molokai Nui Aina and what's the one I like to sing? Kalamaula and all those songs. You'll see the entire Hawaiian side and you'll see the translation too. So it'll be fun for you.
huh. So how long would you say you've been studying the Hawaiian language?
Oh, I would say I took my first class maybe a good 10 years ago. And then I've been trying to study consistently, for that period of time. But as you know, in life, it's it's difficult to work, family, church, and then I was the president of the Hawaiian Civic Club of Colorado for about 8 years too. So it's hard to squeeze everything in. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's tough. But I've made some progress. I think I can be very conversationally. I can speak conversationally Hawaiian, but if it gets much deeper than that, then not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I lived in Texas for a number of years, and so
Uh-huh.
I accidentally picked up Spanish. But my problem is I get the vocabulary, I get the setup, so I'm
Yep.
clear in what I'm saying, but I have trouble hearing really fast when they talk to me. I can
When they
pick
talk
out,
fast. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's in any
So,
language when they talk fast. So part of this class that I'm taking online now, um, you remember back in the day, Larry Kimura started interviewing people in Hawaiian language on KCCN radio. It was on
uh-huh.
radio. So
Wow.
he was studying or studying or teaching or like in the undergraduate or graduate program at UH, and he decided he wanted to get native speakers, interview them, talk to them in Hawaiian, and have an hour or so of Hawaiian language on KCCN. It became hugely popular, and for the native speakers like the Niihau people and people from Hawaii Island that speak a lot of Hawaiian, and all of that stuff is available on archives. So you can actually go to this website that I'm studying on. It's called Ka'ala. The guy's name is Maluhia something, and but he makes that all available. So you can go and listen to these Nihao speakers speaking in Nihao style Hawaiian, and they use the T's instead of the K's. So it's like Tato instead of Kako and all that. And I'm listening, go, wow, man, that's awesome. So yeah, and they speak fast, brother. I mean, fast. So it's
I can
hard.
imagine. Now, you mentioned Larry Kimura. Is he coming here?
Larry Kimura is Kamehameha, yeah, but he's way before us. I don't know what year he graduated, and he became the head of the University of Hawaii School of Hawaiian Knowledge. I think. Yeah,
Wow, okay.
yeah, yeah. No, the Kamehameha students have made a pretty significant impact on both Hawaiian language, of course, Hawaiian music, and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my niece is Kainani Kahaunaile. She's both an entertainer and a Hawaiian language teacher at University of Hawaii Hilo. So yeah. So we're trying our best to catch that mother tongue, but it's not easy.
I'm curious, the
Yeah.
medals hanging on the wall behind you, what are they?
Those are my gymnastics medals from 1975, brother.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my year of all around. Then this is one of my awards from the University of Southern California, the most improved gymnast award one year at the university. Yeah.
And
So
and kind of funny, they put it in the form of like a beer stein, yeah.
yeah, well, it's USC, brother. It's USC. They know how to drink beer over there. Not everybody drinks beer, but they know how to drink beer. Oh, yeah.
Did you, when they were maybe little, did you introduce gymnastics to your kids?
To my children, my oldest one was interested, yes, and she was also very flexible. She would have been a good gymnast, but I was still too poor to pay for her lessons. You know how it is, right? Hey, Dad, can
Uh,
I take gymnastics? Yeah, maybe. So
maybe next month.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So she's funny. I think she mad at me still for that. But yeah, I did introduce one, and the other one was more of a the ball athlete, my second one that played volleyball, basketball, and my girl. But that one's built like me. Her muscles are short and she's kind of stocky and very strong. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So you are planning to attend the reunion, correct?
Yes, I already got my ticket. I got my hotel, not hotel. I got my space in the dorms. Not sure I did all the ticketing right because it was kind of confusing, but I'm gonna check with them, make sure everything's right.
Yeah, I had trouble the one opportunity to get t-shirts and a upgraded hat. I missed the deadline on that. I went back to
Oh, dang, I missed
process
that
and went,
too.
oh, too late.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Speaking of
good, I'm
that,
gonna be staying in the dorms too.
the class night. When do we have to get the that form in? Was that like this week sometime? I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but no worries on that because Mike told me yesterday that he's in charge of it. You know, if you walk in the night of and pay your money,
Good.
you're in.
Okay.
Because I think it's already set, so it's not like they're fighting a deadline on the other end, yeah.
Hmm.
So, I think it's already reserved and paid, and they're just the money coming in will reimburse the whoever paid for it, the class or what. I don't know. So
Yeah. Well, good. I'll get that paperwork in here. Now that my tax day is over, I was working on taxes last night, like many people in America. Yeah. All right. Over there, in case you want.
Philip, I lost your sound. You clicked something and you muted.
Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Since we're looking at the wall, that one is the diploma from SC 79. And then wait, how does that thing work? I don't even know where my camera is.
Should more than likely, are you on a laptop?
On a iPad. Should be right in the middle,
When
yeah.
it's vertical, should be on the top end of your iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my USC diploma and outstanding student athlete award 1979. So
Documentation, proof positive.
documentation. Hang them up on the wall. Oh,
Tell
yeah.
them, hey, I'm not lying. Check the wall.
Exactly, right? I was the other day I was looking at, just how as we get to this age, we reminisce quite a bit, right, about life and stuff. And when I was graduating at SC, you could get your class ring right way back if you wanted to order that. But I was so poor. I mean, I went to SC and people asked me, how'd you pay for that? I said, I have no idea how I figured out how to pay for USC. I tell them, hey, I was too stupid to figure out how much it was. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to this school. And luckily they gave me a fair amount of money to help out, and I got work study. Then I walked on the team, got some scholarship money. So all of that helped me a lot. But as I think back to it, is super important growth years in my life. But I wanted a class ring, but I was too poor to get one, right? And so I just ordered a class ring about 2 months ago. At age, 68, 67, 68. I got my class ring from college.
And will it be a reproduction of the
It's
original?
exactly. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Made by the same company, Jostens, that makes the class rings. Yeah, they made it. And they said you can order it. So it wasn't cheap, brother, but I thought, you know what? I earned this thing. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Give
So
me
it's been a
one
fun.
second, Philip. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Where am I? Okay, back when you're ready, sir.
Trying to go get my water.
Right on. Hydrate, hydrate, brother.
Yeah, brother. I live in the upper, what they call the high plains desert. Sometimes it gets really dry in Colorado.
Now, are you at a higher elevation where you live?
I'm at almost 6,000 feet, so yeah, about 5,780 or something. A little higher than Denver. Denver's
Wow.
at 5,280. Yeah.
I guess you're probably fully acclimated, but do you remember a time when you would go exert outside and notice the difference in the air?
Yeah, I remember. I was still pretty young when I got here. I was what 35, maybe 30 something. So I acclimated pretty easily, but then when I went up to the mountains to, like hike and stuff. So, when you leave Hawaii, right, you have the ocean as your playground. When you come to Colorado, you have to switch from the ocean as your playground to the mountains as your playground. So I made that switch and I started hiking and biking and not fly fishing, but stream fishing and stuff like that. And took my family camping a lot when they were young. We really enjoyed that. But yeah, as you get into the higher elevations, you notice it. Even though I live at about 5,700 feet, when you go up into the mountains, you're at like 9,000 feet, 10,000, 12,000 feet. And when I was 50, I challenged myself because I'm kind of crazy like that to do something more kind of, what's the word? Challenge myself to do something like hike what's called 14ers in Colorado. 14ers are mountains that are over 14,000 foot tall. So, yeah. But a lot of people do it. They challenge themselves. And so I did my first 14er. Shoot, brother, I thought I was going to die. I had a friend. I had a friend go with me. I said, okay, let's do this. He says, okay, let's do it. I said, and I let him choose the mountain. I said, so which one are we doing? He said, we're doing Mount Elbert. I said, Mount Elbert. Isn't that like the tallest mountain in Colorado? I said, why do we choose the hardest or longest or tallest one in the first hike? He's like, I don't know. It just sounded good. He's an engineer. So I let him study stuff out. So I said, okay, climb that thing. I mean, it was so difficult. As you get to a certain level, like up in the 12,000 foot range, the oxygen level is so much lower than here and you climb steep, rocky, what they call tundra type area, meaning there's no really vegetation anymore. It's just rocks and cliffs, and you climb the last section. It's like you take a 1 foot step and then you stop and breathe for about 3 or 4 times. Then you take your next 1 foot step and you stop and breathe 3 or 4 times. That's how bad it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
But I made it, survived it. Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
mentioned Mount Elbert being the tallest,
Honest. Yeah.
and it reminds me my favorite saying. I lived in Texas for about 15, 16 years, and my
Oh,
favorite saying I learned down there is they say, if you have to eat a plate of frogs, eat the big frog first. So that's what your friend was doing.
is that what it was? Is that a Texas saying?
Yeah. You
If
conquered
you
the
gotta
tall
eat a
one.
plate of
Now
frogs.
everything should be gravy.
Exactly. Maybe that's true. Or as they say in Hawaii, right? Just go for broke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I tell you. Yeah, but it's been fun. And then I learned to fly fish. I've been trying to fly fish for years, but it's very challenging. But I finally met a fly fishing master last summer, and I caught my first fish on fly rods, trout on fly rods last summer. So that was a lot of fun. So I plan to do much more of that when I retire.
Yeah, Richard Bartlett's pretty avid on lake
Fisherman.
and river fishing.
Yeah.
So
Where does Richard live now?
Idaho,
Idaho? Oh, yeah,
Idaho,
Idaho
yeah,
has some good fishing. Yeah.
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 And my first cousin, he's about 10 years older. He graduated Kamehameha 65.
Uh-huh.
He runs a charter on Molokai, and they go out on the flat and fly fish oeo.
On the flats, meaning like a flat reefy area or what?
Um, Well,
or sandbars?
the south shore of Molokai, it's not really coral. It's light layer of sand, but it extends out,
For a long
not like
way.
a stem, yeah, probably over a quarter of a mile or something.
Oh wow, I didn't know
So,
that.
yeah, and then he went to Texas and had them build him a boat maybe a decade and a half ago that will draft in 4 inches of water.
Wow.
So, yeah,
So
and
he can
he's
go
been
right
doing it
over
all this
those
time.
flats.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of that. When
But,
my wife
I
and I got
mean,
married,
flights
my
are
mom
great,
bought
bro.
us some honeymoon or hotel. She used to work for the Sheraton, my mom, and she got us a stay at the hotel there on Molokai for after our wedding. So yeah,
Right on.
way back in the day, brother. Yeah, that was good memories. Good memories back
Yeah.
then.
Now, is your wife still working, or
No,
does she
she's
work?
10 years older than me, so she retired quite a while ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did she do?
She was a school teacher. Yeah. In
Okay.
Utah schools, and here she's taught in schools for a little bit, and then she tutored reading for a long time in our community. So she taught a lot of kids who were struggling with reading back then.
Did she focus on a particular grade level?
Yeah, when she was she taught elementary, like grades 5 was her kind of a favorite grade. And she has a degree in music from the University of Utah, as well as a master's degree in English and teaching. So
So does she perform with you?
she used to sing with me a lot, but because she's older, she says she cannot predict what her voice is going to be like. Yeah, and I think I was telling you that she got accepted to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir just before we got married. When I proposed to her, she had to decide between marrying me or going into the choir.
Wow.
I said,
Now
honey,
that's
come
a statement she
on.
made right there.
Exactly right. So luckily she chose me and came to Hawaii. But if she wasn't marrying me, she would have just stayed in Utah and been happy to sing in the choir because that's one of the nation's best choirs. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, she's sitting there going, Mormon Tabernacle Choir,
Or marrying this
or
Hawaiian guy. What's the deal? I don't know.
and live in a
In a
shack in
shack in Hawaii.
Anahola.
She didn't know about the shack yet. But
Okay.
yeah, nah, she's a great lady. We've had many great years. But yeah, I was gonna ask you: are people bringing spouses to the thing, or some do and some don't? I don't know. I told my wife you're
Yeah,
probably not gonna like this, but
some do, some don't.
yeah,
It just kind of depends on I guess how well they think the person would.
would assimilate or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, because you're sitting there talking with people who have a whole life away from you that.
exactly. From 50 years ago. But we,
Yeah.
our son, he has some health issues, so she's gonna stay here and be with him. But she's gonna come over for the law school graduation. So she'll come to Hawaii with me in May. Then I'll come back again in June for the reunion.
All
So
right
I got to
on,
make
right
two
on.
trips to Hawaii, even though it's big money. I couldn't miss either of those things.
So
Yeah,
your daughter is going to graduate, and I imagine with her OHA connection, probably just remain in Hawaii. And
we think so. Yeah, we hope so that she gets a good position over there at OHA. They need some bright young law students to do a lot of the stuff that happens in the Hawaii legislature happens pretty fast. Yeah, in other words, say, hey, we're gonna do this, and the Hawaiian community is going, oh wait, did we have our input? No. Okay, well it's too late now. So they're gonna try to get ahead of that by having smart young attorney types make sure they're reading all the bills that are being proposed and find out which ones that OHA or the Hawaiian community should be aware of and give input early rather than later. One of the issues with Hawaii is that, you know, those in charge sometimes don't give us in the Hawaiian community enough notice to even know what's going on before it's already done.
law is a subject to me that's very powerful and seems like if you knew what you were doing, it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
I was reading something just about a month ago where there are young lawyers who they choose to put in time with this organization, and what they do is they pull up cold cases.
Yes.
In fact, I don't even remember that incident with Dana Ireland on the Big Island. Young girl was
That one.
bicycling and some guys, ended up hurting her and then killing her.
Whoa.
and they recently got a guy out of jail who had been in for well over a decade because new evidence came in and proved that he wasn't
Right.
involved. So, like I said, so it's yeah, that law is a field where my youngest granddaughter's been talking about it, and
Uh-huh.
same like with your daughter, she argues real well. So that was kind of like a good choice
Might as
to
well follow
make.
your
Yeah,
talents, right? Yeah,
yeah,
follow your
yeah,
talents. No, my daughter was telling me that as the students at UH Law, they do volunteer time for the for what do they call those cases? The something project where people might be, wrongly incarcerated. Yeah, so they help
yeah. I
out with
think I
that.
remember that was part of the name of this
Yep.
thing that I read. So, but hey, I mean, I would be so grateful if I was innocent and had spent over a
No
decade
kidding,
in
right?
jail. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That has got to be
No,
horrendous to mentally handle every day you woke up.
yeah. And really the law, anything to do with the law is as much as we think we might be able to handle it ourselves. I mean, the law is so complicated and there's so many procedures and deadlines that need to be hit exactly right, or else you're just out of luck. And unfortunately, Hawaiian people, or people who think they can get into the legal system without proper representation and help, really are at a significant disadvantage. So kudo to the University of Hawaii, because they got these young kids that are interested in Native Hawaiian law and causes, and there's a fair good sized group in her class that are studying. You have to study law just in general, but then you can choose some certain fields that you have interest in. So she chose the Native Hawaiian side, so she's excited about that. She said she wants to really work hard on the cases where the Navy, put all the fuel underground that's leaking and all that kind of environmental stuff. So, and she's
Mm,
akamai enough to handle both the science stuff and the legal stuff now, it looks like.
right on. And I imagine it's nice as an adult for her to get back to reconnect and stay connected with the cousins and your family that's still there. And
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. She moved back to Hawaii with her husband. They were still married and young kids, maybe a good 15 years ago now, maybe. So, and she just made that decision on her. She said, Dad, I can be poor in Colorado and poor in Hawaii. I better be poor in Hawaii. So she just said, I'm going. So off they
okay.
went and struggled for a while. And here she is, 10 years later, graduating from law school. So it's a great story.
So remind me, you have how many grandchildren?
I have six grandchildren, three that live up here, and then my daughter in Hawaii has three boys, all boys.
What age range?
I think they are going from maybe the oldest might be a sophomore, maybe in high school on Kauai. They're on Kauai. The boys are on Kauai. So maybe what, 16 ish down to maybe hers are down to maybe 10. So the three boys, and then the daughter up here, she has a new one. That new one's only about 2 years old, and then she's got a maybe a six and or 8 and a 10-year old. Yeah, so still
Right
pretty young.
on.
Yeah, I was
Well,
back there visiting with my daughter and her boys, and I was teaching my grandson how to surf at what they call that beach on Eva, White Plains or something like that, just past Pearl Harbor.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was teaching him how to surf, having fun over there. Yeah, but my body's kind of old for surfing now. As much as I want to keep doing it, it's getting old.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you once, grandson, and then after that you kind of on your own.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah,
I can show you a second time, but it's gotta be tomorrow.
when you were bored, when you were boarding, did you used to go down to Waikiki, catch the buses down, and then go learn to surf in front of the Halekulani?
Not really. We go down just, for something to do, really, but we
Right.
didn't have an intention of. And
Somehow I
then
got
you,
hooked up with some guys. I can't remember who it was. We used to go down, and we used to go, and the Beach Boys at Halekulani would rent us the boards for cheap. And then that's where I learned to surf. I didn't learn to surf on Kauai. I learned to surf at Waikiki. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So on the big boards early, way back then, in the big boards, and then after I got my first taste of surfing, it kind of grabs you. Yeah. So I just then on Kauai, I learned to shortboard surf and all that stuff. But yeah, so I pay my respect to Waikiki where I learned how to surf. Those
Well,
good days back then.
you can remember too that our rooms probably didn't have a lot of space for
Right? No
extra
space for
stuff. Right?
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could manage to beg, borrow, or steal equipment,
That's
you
what
could
you
go
had to
do
do.
something.
Exactly. Yeah, but that was fun times going to Waikiki, learn to surf, go eat at what was that big buffet you could eat for cheap? Can't remember what that name of that
Perry
place.
Boys, Perry
That's
Boys
right.
Smorgy.
Yes, Morgies. Oh, that was good, man. Whew. Yeah, yeah. Hey,
So you were
you don't have do you have access to phone numbers for like I was trying to reach out to some old gymnastics team members, but I cannot find numbers and names and junk like that. But you know who was a gymnast in our class was Loretta Chai. She was the Chai brothers, one of their daughters was in gymnastics. So if you can find me the number for the old coach, what's his name? Brad Cooper. He was the gymnastics coach, one of the gymnastics coaches.
not so much on staff, but
Yeah. Wouldn't mind reaching out to some of the old classmates. I mean, teammates, like the Kauka brothers. I don't know if I can find them either.
yeah, I have notes here because I was helping early on with just data collection. And for Loretta Chai, I have a work email that apparently she's left at work. So
Probably retired by now, yeah.
yeah, so no, because I made multiple attempts. I think Kathy Chow has made multiple attempts and nothing back from her. So
And you said Kathy lives here in Colorado.
yeah, Colorado Springs. But
Wow.
she travels a lot. I mean, she's in Hawaii, maybe, I don't know. I'm guessing half her time. So
Oh, really? She retired already too, or she travels for work?
I think she is retired already.
Gotcha.
But she has connections because I think I don't know if it would have been her first marriage, but I'll call it her longest marriage.
Uh-huh.
She has part ownership in the business they built. So
Oh, over
yeah,
here in Colorado, or where?
no, in Hawaii, plumbing business.
Oh, wow.
So apparently that generates income,
For
so
her.
and
Good.
now she's married to a guy, his last name Fonseca. I think she said he went Farrington. I can't remember.
Fonseca, I have heard that name before. Yeah, Fonseca. Yep.
So when
So
you go for the reunion part, how long you plan to be there?
I'm gonna be there about a week. Yeah, about a week. I'm gonna come and think. Can't remember what day I check in into the dorms. You can check in starting when Tuesday was it?
I'm
Tuesday or
not
Wednesday?
sure. I just grabbed my 3 days and I'm not
Yeah,
going to get there till Thursday. So
that's about when. I might get there on Wednesday or something, but I think my check-in is Thursday also. Yeah. I guess you just find out what dorms and rooms you're in when you check in and whatever.
yeah, and then I have to go back and double check because Mike says he thought the rooms were double occupancy, and I thought, oh, I just saw the amount and the days, and I don't remember reading anything specific. So
Right. You
otherwise,
mean
I'll just
there'd be
roll up a dummy, and
two kids in the room. Two kids, not kids, but two people in the room. Is that what you're saying?
that's what he claims. So,
You
but
know
either
what?
he read it wrong or I read it wrong. I don't know.
That could be. Who knows? And we're in the middle school dorms, right? Down below.
I'm not sure,
That's what I think so.
but somebody clarified for me that I hadn't stopped to think of is the dorm offering. It was not just us; it's all the O's and fives. So
That's right.
you're gonna be mixed up with a lot
People
of
from
different age groups. So,
right. Some with walkers, maybe. Oh
well,
man,
that
it'll
way,
be
if things
fun.
get too crazy, I can just borrow a walker.
Yeah, I got some back problems now that are sometimes I walk like an old guy. Oh man.
Good, good. Well, I'm looking forward to it, Philip. It'll be
Me
so
too.
great to see you and so many others. It's going to be fantastic. So
Well, I'm gonna bring one of my ukuleles, so when it's free time in the dorm, I don't know, bring your music, we go play.
sounds good, brother.
All
You
right.
take it easy, and we shall see you in June.
All right. Aloha. Ahui ho.